Welcome to the AWS Edge Innovation Spotlight. I'm Stuart Lepkowski, the Global Media and Entertainment Games and Sports Partner Leader, and we're here today with Gonzalo from Kaltura.
Thank you, Stuart, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
It's a pleasure to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Kaltura and what you're doing in the industry?
Absolutely. So Kaltura is an AI video-powered cloud platform. We're powering anything from live events to corporate trainings online for companies all around the world, across industries such as technology, education, media and telco, financial services, and pharma, supporting marketing teams, internal communications teams, customer success, and we're all about communication.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. So please tell us about how you're using AWS services.
Yeah, so I would say, Stuart, that there's three main things that are non-negotiable for our customers: reliability, scalability, and scalability with global distribution. We use Amazon CloudFront for edge delivery for seamless performance across geographies and devices, which is really good for our customers that are looking for this type of scalability and reliability.
Excellent. The resilience story there is fabulous. And did you know that it's AWS Elemental's 10th anniversary?
Congrats on the anniversary. And we've been leveraging the Elemental services from CEO town halls to address tens of thousands of employees to live events powered all across the globe to ensure just the best experience for our customers. And we are more than happy to be feeling confident that we have the right technology in the back end with you guys.
And cloud services is a great place to have that scalability. And it's great to hear that you're using those services as well.
Absolutely. And our customers rely on us. They trust on our selection of our partners. They trust on our technology. So they feel really confident with delivering these types of events that are so important for them and for their audiences.
Let's talk a little bit more about your customers and some of the challenges that they're seeing and how you're overcoming them using cloud technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was saying before, we work with customers all across the board, right? From Latin America to Europe to the US to APAC. And with all of the industries that I mentioned before, technology, financial services, pharma, these are highly regulated industries and they really depend on security, reliability, scalability. And Stuart, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is content being delivered to audiences that are expecting to get the message across. So what we're doing here is just trying to ensure that the experience is seamless for both the production team and also for the audience itself. And some of the challenges that they've been facing is when they're streaming to millions of concurrent viewers, right? How are we not choking our systems? How are we making sure that across all of the devices, the experience is seamless and consistent? If we're talking about different types of regions, and we've worked with events, and I can touch a little bit more about that in a second, that have been delivered to multiple places around the world, how can we make sure that all across the globe, the experience that these people are getting is just perfect? It's an 11-star experience. And for us, being able to work with AWS across the board with your technology has been, a major factor in being successful with our customers.
Gonzalo, as you know, AI and agents are really changing the industry in the world. How are you guys using that?
Yeah, so I would say there's three main parts to this question, Stuart. And of course, I was prepared for this one. The first one would be we're infusing AI into our platform, right? Our customers are using daily our management console for managing the content or our interfaces for exposing and displaying and delivering these types of assets. We're infusing these types of platforms with certain content features that will allow them to, for example, repurpose their content so they can maximize the value that they are getting from the content that they are producing, right? So such as creating short snippets out from a 1 hour long video, or enriching with metadata automatically, or creating chapters and summaries. So all of these features and components will live within our platform. That's what I like to call blue collar AI. Not sexy, very productive. The second part, which would be like a standalone product, I would call it. We're working on something called the Genie that we already released to the market. We already have customers using it. We're super excited and proud to see the results that this is giving to our customers. And it's basically a way to allow a viewer to interact with the video content via a chat interface. So imagine you could just ask whatever you want to the video itself and get an answer instead of having to watch and see the entire thing. Or imagine that there's an entire content library with 30,000 videos and you're looking for just one specific piece of information. You could ask the Genie, the chat interface, and will surface the right moment in the right video that will have the answer for you. That's the Genie, an AI product that we're already releasing to the market and seeing great results already. And the third piece would be the agentic platform. We're starting to release our first AI agents. Super excited about it. We've been listening to our customers a lot, understanding what are their pains, their challenges, and that's how we've been developing all of these AI products, and we will be updating the market soon about these new releases that are due to come in the next couple months.
That's a fabulous bar raising story. Can you talk a little bit more about an example of where you're going to see agents evolve in the product?
Sure, there's one clear example which is in the creation of the content in and its workflows, right? If you think about it today, you need not just production but also post-production, the editing, and also once you have the content, how are you repurposing in a right way? So there's a lot of things going on in that cycle of the content. Moderation is one of it. We're starting to think about agents for facilitating and enhancing the moderation journeys for the content production itself. So whether it's identifying certain words that shouldn't be allowed, or whether it's identifying a specific component in the video asset, will make the life easier for the production team, as well as for the marketers. For example, in the marketing use case, you're producing a webinar program, you're producing an event that is going to be streamed to tens of thousands of people. That entire journey of setting up your event requires a lot of manual work. We're trying to automate that work for our customers. We're trying to make it easier. We're trying to give them more tools to basically do more with less. One of the biggest trends that we've been seeing in the last year.
Yeah, it's very, very innovative. Let's talk a little bit about one of your customer stories. And can you tell us a story about one of your customers and how Kaltura really changed the way they use cloud and what they're doing in the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to work with some of the largest organizations in the world. I work with CMOs, with CIOs, that they constantly seek for our advice and our recommendation when it comes to delivering video experiences, and not just video, but just digital experiences overall. One customer that I would love to mention is this use case that we worked on last year that we're going to repeat this year again, which is one of the largest digital advertiser summit in the world. Last year, it had 55,000 registrants delivering to 9 different regions around the world. Simu-Live, which means that they pre-recorded the content and they delivered it at the time zone for each of these regions, and it had to go smooth and flawlessly. So we had registration page, we had a coming soon page, and then the event happened across all the world in different timings, and it was just flawless. This customer was really looking to having stability and the trust that the product would scale, the technology would scale up to whatever number of viewers they would have. And it was a key component in our selling process to tell them about our partnership with AWS. They really felt that they were in good hands when it came to making sure that the experience was going to be delivered flawlessly. So that's a very nice, and I'm really proud about that specific customer in the marketing space. But we also work with pharma customers that are, a regulated industry, that they are delivering very sensitive content, and they also need to feel confident about how the content is being transmitted over the cloud and how everything is being set up from the technology backbone. In the education space, a lot of universities are relying on our technology and hence on AWS technology to deliver lessons to children and teenagers and young adults all over the world without choking the system. That's a key thing. How are we making sure that the system doesn't get saturated when we get like tens of thousands of concurrent viewers at the same time that really depend on that content to progress in their journey? So these are just some of the examples of key customers that we've been working with in the last couple of years.
And that's a fabulous cloud story. The journey across many industries using one product line to serve them all. I would certainly call that customer obsession.
Absolutely. And that's how we build products, Stuart. We listen above everything. I mean, I come from the startup world. So for me, shipping is when awesomeness starts, and I'm all about shipping. And hell, we've been shipping a lot of new features, Stuart. But I do think that nowadays we have to listen. Just stop and listen to our customers. What are they saying? How are they feeling? Are they afraid of the implementation of AI tools? So we are also going down that path. We want to be better listeners. We want to be better partners. And we want to rely on partners that will do the same to us. And that's how we feel about our relationship with AWS.
What's your proudest moment with integrated learning and education?
We mentioned AI. You're bringing up again education. I'll give you a good example about it. We recently implemented this Genie product that I was mentioning before for a leading online university to help the learners have a more personalized and individualized learning journey. And what that means is that we allowed to automate the entire content library that the university was putting out there for their students, analyzing the data, and basically creating a more smart and searchable content library for the learners themselves to be able to explore the content in a way that felt more natural to them. As a result, the university told us, listen, 80% of the content that is being published and distributed across the AI interface is new content that the learners weren't seeing before, which is great because we're maximizing the value and the responses were already there. Another thing that they brought up that was really important for them and for education overall is the fact that we managed to reduce the violations, which in simple terms would mean people not cheating, not doing plagiarism, and not doing those kind of things. And the reason why we managed to deliver those types of results is because the end experience is better. I think of this in two different ways, right? From the end user experience, is the interface the right one? Is the timing the right one? Is the type of content delivery the right one for them to feel that they own the learning process? From the learning education perspective, I like to think about it as, are we making sure that the content is delivered in a way that the learner will enjoy it, will be able to adapt to it, and will be able to grasp and really absorb what we're trying to put out there in a seamless way, trying to offload the work that the professors and the teachers have to do. So I think this is a really nice case of how we managed to deliver on this front.
And that's a great story where you're telling about AI and how we're capturing students in the beginning of their business career starts in college as they're growing and learning and moving into the workforce. I think it's great how you're using AI to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just education. If we think about a marketing use case, Stuart, how many events do you attend every year?
Too many.
It's too many, right? So you go to an event, you hear amazing panels, amazing keynotes, and then you go back and you're like, what did this CMO say, or what did this panelist say? You're not gonna go back and watch all of the recordings. It's probably like tens of hours of just recordings, and you're trying to get to that specific moment in time. So if this chat interface, if this agent that we call the genie is implemented at the event page, you could simply go back to the page, ask a question, and instead of getting a large list of results, you would only get what we call flashcards, short snippets that are the exact response that you're looking for, saving you a lot of time, saving you a lot of energy, and helping the company that delivered that event to maximize the value that they are getting out from something that happened in the past that is now on demand for everyone to view.
That's a great story. I look forward to following the Genie product through its life journey and seeing how it changes for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be a game changer for sure.
I agree. Very bar racing. What strategies have helped you adapt and evolve in today's market?
Yeah, I feel like there's two different approaches to this question, Stuart. On the one hand, we can think about how we're approaching it in the market, right? How we're approaching it from a go-to-market perspective. And as I was saying before, we're trying to listen carefully to what our customers are saying, what are the challenges that they're facing, and what are some of the trends that we are seeing around, right? We also want to be trendsetters. We want to help our customers understand what's upcoming in the future. So in that regard, one of the things that we've been hearing is customers wanting to do more with less. Automation and AI, perfect for that. It checks all the boxes. On a second level, we're talking about consolidation with our customers. How can we reduce the number of tools that we're using, not just because of cost efficiency, but also because it reduces the data silos that the companies nowadays have because of the use of multiple different tools. So for that, we're trying to grow horizontally, right? Our technology has to be able to support multiple different use cases at the same time with the same core products and technology and different applications, just to provide that exact response and solution to what customers are trying to do. From a go-to-market perspective, and this might sound a little bit basic, but in the marketing space, we've all been talking about you don't sell features, you sell solutions. In the AI space, I feel you can see this much more clearly because there's so much noise out there. You'll find a lot of this ads talking about AI, but they won't be describing a specific challenge. They won't be describing a specific pain point. They will just be referring to an AI product or an AI solution. And what we're trying to do is cut through the noise. We're really going through educating our customer about identifying their challenges, identifying their pain points, and how this technology, if AI is the right solution, if it's the right answer, could help them solve that. And then our products on top of that, and really enabling them with our solutions in their terms. And that's key for a marketing message, right? You don't speak in your company's terms, you speak in your customer terms. So that's how we've been thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a great answer. The right solution for the right problem is really what I'm hearing there. So what are you seeing as the things that are really important to your customers?
Deep question. I would say there's some uncertainty for sure. And there's an aspect of being out there in the field and working with global tech leaders that is just sitting there and talking about what's upcoming and what might the future hold for us. So there's a component of it, Stuart, that is just like basic human nature about developing that relationship just from the perspective of discussing and brainstorming together what the technology world will bring to us. Of course, they are all asking us, what are you doing on the AI front? And that's a classic question. We have a perfect pitch prepared to deliver. I'm not going to do it just for you, Stuart, because you're not looking for that. But I do think that
Well, tell me a little bit of the story. That's okay.
I've been referring to it before, but I do think what I was saying.
I think you pitched me, but go ahead.
I do think that that's one of the biggest questions that we've been getting in the last, 6 months or a year. What are you doing on the AI front? How can that help us in our use case? Another thing that has been coming up quite a lot, and I feel like this always happens, is what are you seeing from your other customers? What other best practices could we implement based on your experience delivering digital events across the world for the largest tech companies? Or what's your experience working with OTT customers in the media and telecom industry that we could apply to our scenario, right? So we're seeing a lot of demand for benchmarking, and we're supporting our customers in that regard. And then from a technology standpoint, security and privacy, right? More and more customers are asking us how are we creating guardrails to protect their customers' data, especially because a lot of our products, what we're always trying to do and enable our customers is to be able to gather more touch points, what we call first-party data, right? How can we power more experiences that will create opportunities for an end user to willingly want to provide you with more information about themselves? So creating those touch points also comes with the challenge of guardrailing those data points that the company is collecting. So we're always working also on that front.
What's our Better Together story?
Stuart, you've been in the partnerships realm for how long?
30 years, my friend.
Wow. So I want to see if you agree with me. The way that I approach partnerships, there's 3 different categories. There's one, looks great in paper, great for PR. There's a second category, which is short-term results, doesn't move the needle in the long term. There's a third category, which is long-lasting measurable results across product, go-to-market, and the business as a whole. I feel, and I think, and I'm sure that our relationship with AWS is on the third category. Not just because of the use of the specific technology, the CloudFront technology and the elemental media services. It's just the way that we work together puts us in that third category. And I'm sure that on both sides, we're extremely excited about the future and what's to come as we continue building and nurturing this relationship.
So tell me, what's next in the journey with Kaltura?
Growth. Yeah, I'm excited about what's to come, right? We're working with one of the richest data types and assets across the entire communication spectrum, which is video, right? The amount of data, the amount of contextual information that is going on in a video asset it's just incredible. And it's so powerful. I think video has become and is going to become more and more a real-time operating system for organizations. Leveraging AWS will continue to be one of our leverage points for AI workflows specifically, and also driving more autonomous process for creation of the video assets themselves. I think those are around like the most strategic investments that we're doing. And in a more concrete level, video is becoming its own infrastructure and not just a communication format, right? We're seeing more and more video operating as a real-time operating system for organizations, using AWS to power AI workflows. At the core of it all, Stuart, we're talking about communication, and there's a need for our nowadays society for better communication, not just for better means, but just for more crystal clear and more transparent communication. What we're doing, we're enabling that. We're allowing that to happen in the best way possible, leveraging the best technology out there. So I'm excited about the prospect of keep on helping customers deliver amazing messages around the world, sensitive messages, critical messages, the ones that will make you happy, sad, laugh, and imagine and dream about the future. And how we're going to do that? Well, we touched a little bit on that, but definitely the best technology in class. Partners such as AWS, leveraging AI as a tool, as a solution, not just as a technology per se. Listening to our customers, understanding what's going on, being able to identify the trends, but also set new trends, set the bar, set the standards for the industry, and really understand that we're all part of this huge ecosystem and we have to collaborate. We have to work together, not just with our partners, but also with our customers and also with our competition. So that's why I'm so excited, and I see a bright future for Kaltura in the upcoming years.
Thank you. Thank you for the insights and sharing today. Thank you for being here with us and sharing to our audience and our customers. I'm Stuart Lepkowski with Amazon Web Services. Thank you for joining today and happy 10-year anniversary, AWS Elemental.